There are over 82 attractions in Disney World. 82. That's a lot of rides and shows and things to do, and it's a lot to keep track of and to know what's worth your time versus what isn't. That's what this video is all about. This is a guide to everything to do in Disney World. Now, to make this simple, we're going to go through every park and we're going to rate each attraction from 1 to 3. A 1 means it's probably skippable unless it sounds super interesting to you. 2 is in the middle. It's not necessarily a must-do, but it is something that you should really decide if you are okay skipping it. And number 3, our must-dos. These are the best of the best, the most popular of the popular, things that might have a long line, and things that you just can't miss. First up, let's start in Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is probably the park you think of when you think of Disney World. It has the castle. It's been open since the 1970s. It was the original park here, and it is the most Disney World of the parks. There are 6 lands to keep track of here. When you walk in, you'll enter into Main Street USA. There are no rides here, but there are 2 modes of transportation that are kind of rides in and of themselves. The first is Main Street vehicles. Main Street vehicles are actual historic vehicles that you can take up and down Main Street. This is going to be a 1. If you happen to see one pull up while you're standing there and want to hop aboard, great, but don't feel like you're missing out if you don't. You can also find the Walt Disney World Railroad. This is an absolutely historic railroad that circles Magic Kingdom with stops on Main Street USA, Frontierland, and Fantasyland. This is a 2. It is certainly an iconic Disney experience, but not necessarily one that will be the highlight of your trip. Shows-wise, Main Street is home to the fireworks show. Most times of the year, this is a show called Happily Ever After. You have not seen fireworks like Disney fireworks. The fireworks themselves are incredible, launching from about a mile behind the park as well as up at the castle. There are projections on the castle and up and down Main Street, incredible effects, and some really surprising moments. This is a 3. You absolutely have to make sure you see this show. The castle is also home to a show called Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair. This is a castle stage show with dancers and a lot of your favorite characters. It's going to go in the 2 category. You don't necessarily have to plan your day around it, but if you see it going on, you should stop. And if you've got kiddos who maybe have favorite characters in Tangled or Frozen, this show is a great one to catch. There's certainly more entertainment on Main Street, including the Main Street Philharmonic Orchestra at Main Street USA, which is a marching band. It's going to be a 1, but very cool if you see it. And the Dapper Dans, a classic barbershop quartet that you should listen if you see them, but are still going to be a 1. The Festival of Fantasy Parade is the daytime parade, and Disney Starlight is the nighttime parade, complete with lots of lights and electric effects. Both parades are going to land at 3s. They are really wonderful shows and definitely worth seeing. That said, just like how some of our 1s might have people who should do them, keep that in mind for the 3s too, that you might not want to do them. If you're not a parades person, that doesn't make these parades definite must-sees. Similar to how a roller coaster in the 3 category doesn't mean you should subject yourself to motion sickness if it's not your speed. Let's move on to Fantasyland. This is probably the most famous land that Magic Kingdom has to offer, inspired by storybook tales. It's also where you'll find a lot of the characters you and your kids will recognize from Disney movies. One ride that you'll probably recognize is Mad Tea Party. This is the iconic teacups attraction where you sit and spin in a teacup. This is going to be a 2. It is classic and iconic, although the ride itself is pretty much just spinning as fast as you can. It's fun, and the waits aren't typically long. Another attraction in this area is going to be It's a Small World. This is a boat ride that takes you through all parts of the world as children from all around the world sing about how it's a small world after all. And yes, this will get stuck in your head for the rest of time. It's going to be a 2 as well. This is a very historic attraction. The original version debuted at the 1964 World's Fair. But if you're not too into history or classic Disney dark rides, or everything I'm saying sounds like gibberish to you, you might think, this is cute as you ride it, unless this is super memorable. Another iconic one that you have probably seen pictures of, Dumbo the Flying Elephant. This is a ride where you sit inside your very own Dumbo and fly high above the Magic Kingdom. It is going to land in the 2 slot again. It's another one with a lot of historic value and a very great one if you have really little ones, since it doesn't have a height requirement, which means everyone can ride it. Everyone from your babies all the way up to grandma. But it is what I like to call a pick you up and go around in a circle ride. That is to say there's not too much going on. The Barnstormer just next door is Disney World's starter coaster. This is a great one for introducing kids, and it is themed to Goofy flying a plane. This one is going to land in the 2 category. It is certainly not the best roller coaster in Disney World, but kids do tend to love it, and it is really fun. Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid is a dark ride where you ride in a clamshell through the story of the Little Mermaid. This one is a 2 as well. The animatronics and tech aren't quite as impressive as elsewhere in Disney World, but this is awesome for Little Mermaid lovers and a pretty classic Disney dark ride experience. Next up, the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This is another dark ride taking you into the 100-acre wood to see Winnie the Pooh and friends on a very blustery day. This is an iconic attraction that is loved by many and is actually going to land in our 3 category as one of the best examples of Disney dark rides that exists in Magic Kingdom. One of the most classic attractions at all is Prince Charming Regal Carousel, a classic carousel that is very beautiful and is actually the oldest attraction in the park, as it's over 100 years old. That said, this is going to be in the 1 category, worth doing if you've got kiddos who love a carousel, but it's also great just to look at. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is one of the most popular rides in Magic Kingdom and has you riding in a swinging mine car roller coaster around and through the mountain where the dwarves are mining. You'll see some familiar faces here and even end up by Snow White's cottage. This one is incredibly popular for a reason, and though it has a height requirement, is a family-geared coaster and beloved by many, so it is a 3, a must-do. And finally, the other best example of a classic Disney dark ride is Peter Pan's Flight. On this ride, you ride in a flying pirate ship over London and off to Neverland, where you'll see iconic scenes from the Peter Pan movie. This is certainly a 3 because it is so popular, and there is something so enchanting about flying over the landscapes. The only show in Fantasyland is called Mickey's PhilharMagic. This is a 3D show that is about 10 minutes long where Donald gets a hold of Mickey's wizard hat and antics ensue as he ends up transported through many iconic Disney movie scenes. This one lands at a 2. It is a great place to get a little air-conditioned break from the heat of Magic Kingdom. It's not too long and it has a very cute story. Hopping just next door, we'll head to Liberty Square. This is a land themed to United States history, particularly the colonial times. The only attraction here is called Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion is another dark ride where you ride in a doom buggy through a haunted mansion, home to 999 haunts, with room for 1,000. Could it be you? That's what you'll find out. This ride is definitely one that will take you through some spookier environments with ghosts and ghouls alike, but it is not that scary. Many a kid loves Haunted Mansion. I rode it when I was very young, and it only scared me when it stopped one time on Halloween at midnight. I have every right to be scared when I'm stuck in a place called the Haunted Mansion at midnight on Halloween. This one is going to be a 3 as one of the most popular Disney attractions that many people consider a greatest of all time. And the show in this land is going to be called the Hall of Presidents. Hall of Presidents is a show featuring animatronics of every single president that the United States has had. In my opinion, it's the coolest way we keep track of the presidents we've had throughout time, but it is a rather long show and definitely more geared towards history. It's going to be a 1. It's certainly skippable, but if you're a history nerd or a robotics nerd, you should hit this one up. Frontierland is home to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This is one of the newest attractions in Disney World and is a log flume ride where you join Tiana looking for the perfect band for her Mardi Gras party. You'll see Tiana's work at Tiana's Foods, head into the bayou, and even end up at Tiana and Naveen's home. This is a long ride that is very popular and is going to land as a must-do. A warning though, you may get wet. Frontierland is also home to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. This is a famous Disney attraction, also known as the wildest ride in the wilderness. You are on a runaway mine train through a mountain that is riddled with some surprising issues. Mostly, it's just a really fun roller coaster with some incredible frontier theming. It's another 3. And the only show in Frontierland is Country Bear Musical Jamboree, where animatronic bears sing classic Disney songs in country style. It is a great show for the whole family. It's got some laughs to it, and you'll definitely recognize some of these tunes. This one is a 2. It's another 10-minute show, so easy to see, good break in the air conditioning, and lovable characters. Moving on to Adventureland, we find ourselves at Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean is a ride where you hop in a boat and journey back in time to the golden age of piracy. You might recognize some characters on this ride from the Pirates of the Caribbean films like Captain Jack Sparrow, but mostly you're just going to see some pillaging, some plundering, and hear a very catchy tune, many pirates saying yo-ho. This is a 3 as one of the most popular rides in Disney World that doesn't get too long lines and is absolutely historic. This is one of the rides that put Disney on the map. Speaking of rides that put Disney on the map, Jungle Cruise is also here in Adventureland. This is a ride I like to lovingly call Jokes and Boats, where you get in a boat and ride past animatronic creatures through the rivers of the world as a skipper guide tells you some very punny jokes along the way. You might laugh, you might cringe, but you'll have a good time. This one is a 3 as well, as a pretty famous Disney attraction. Just next door is the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. This is basically a Dumbo-style attraction, but instead of an elephant, you are on a magic carpet ride inspired by Aladdin. This one is actually going to land in the 1 category. It is the same ride as Dumbo, and Dumbo is more historic, so I would say swing towards Dumbo. However, this is a fun ride, and your little kiddos who love Dumbo will certainly love this one too. The show in Adventureland is called the Enchanted Tiki Room. This is a show that had Walt Disney creating animatronics for the first time. The birds in the original version of the Enchanted Tiki Room were the first ever animatronics that were created. They are little robotic birds that sing the tunes of the Enchanted Tiki Room as the entire Tiki Room comes to life around you. The birds sing words, the flowers croon. It's the Tiki 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 Room. This one's historic, but it is still going to land in the 1 category. If you don't care too much about Disney history, this one might feel a little bit boring in this day and age. Back across the park, let's talk Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is a land inspired by the future in kind of a retro-futuristic kind of way. One ride here is called the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover. This is an attraction that hardly ever has a very long line, as you join a people mover that takes you on a tour around Tomorrowland. You'll see some of the other attractions from a very unique vantage point, and mostly you'll get a nice relaxing ride without too much of a wait. This is actually a 3. It is beloved by pretty much everybody, so you can't miss this one even though it doesn't seem that exciting. Plus the wait's not long, so why not? Across the way is Space Mountain. You may have seen this Disney ride before. It is another of the most iconic attractions. This one is a bit of an older ride. It is a steel coaster where you rocket through space in almost pitch black circumstances. It's a little herky-jerky, be prepared to be shaken around, but it is a very, very popular roller coaster all the same. Because of how herky-jerky it is and that there are a lot of much cooler coasters in Disney World, it's going to be a 2.5. But remember, this one's iconic for a reason, and it is pretty fun. Another of the newest attractions in Disney World is Tron Light Cycle Run. This is a high-speed launch coaster where you ride your very own light cycle on a very thrilling outdoor launch and into the grid from Tron. It is a short attraction, and a very common thing at the end of it is to hear people saying, "That's it?" But while you're on it, it is very fun. It's going to be a 3 just because of how popular it remains as one of the newest and highest type roller coasters in Disney World. Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin is an attraction where you join Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story series as he battles against his arch nemesis Zurg. You'll get your very own blaster and get to rack up points in competition against your family. This one is very fun and is probably in that 2.5 territory. Not quite one that I would say every single person has to do, but you shouldn't miss it if you can help it. Tomorrowland Speedway is an attraction where you sit in your very own little car and drive it along a speedway. This one is very loud, smells like gasoline, and is not that exciting for adults who drive their own car all the time. But for kids who can't drive, very exciting. It's going to be a 1 because it is certainly skippable, and the pedal is so hard to press down, it might give you a calf cramp. I don't know why it's so hard to press down. And our final true Tomorrowland ride is Astro Orbiter. This is a Dumbo-style attraction that actually sits on top of a building in Tomorrowland, so it's some of the highest views that you can get in Magic Kingdom. You ride in a rocket, and it's a bit more thrilling than the other Dumbo-style attractions because of its height and its speed. That said, this one is uncomfortable, typically has very long lines, and unless you're really excited about the prospect of the view, it's not too different from other Dumbo-style attractions. So Astro Orbiter will be a 1. Tomorrowland has 2 shows. One of those is Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, a show where real live monsters tell real life jokes. It's different every time because these are real performers and there's a lot of audience participation. This one is a 2. If you don't have time for it, don't feel too beaten down by it. But this is an incredible show, absolutely worth seeing if you do have the time. I promise you'll laugh. And Carousel of Progress. This is another of those historic attractions that debuted at the 1964-65 World Fair, where a family takes you through the history of technology. It is a very charming attraction that has gotten some updates over the years to keep it up to date, a great way to get a nice break in the air conditioning, and the theater actually rotates. You sit down in the seat and you see 4 different stages over the course as your chair moves with the rest of the building. This one is a 2. Another historic one, but not the end of the world if you can't quite get to it. With Magic Kingdom done, let's move on to the second Disney World park, Epcot. This one opened in the 80s and originally stood for the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. This park is a bit about the world around us and was partially designed to emulate a permanent World's Fair. There are 4 lands in this park, but don't be fooled, it is a lot of walking. It's a very big theme park. The first land is World Celebration. World Celebration is home to the most iconic ride that Epcot has. If you've heard of or seen a photo of Epcot, you've probably seen the giant Epcot ball. This is Spaceship Earth. Inside that ball is a ride where you go on a dark ride through the history of human communication. There are tons of animatronics, 60 actually, we've counted, and very cool scenes that take you throughout this ride. Plus, you're riding inside that giant geodesic sphere, which is just plain cool. This is a 3, and I'm pleased to tell you it does not typically have long waits. World Celebration is also home to Journey into Imagination with Figment. This is an attraction in the Imagination Pavilion where you head to the Imagination Institute to learn about the way imagination works. But things are derailed a bit when the scientist's own figment of imagination comes to life as a purple dragon and takes you into his version of imagination, which is a little bit more fun. It is a wacky, wonky attraction that has some haters and some lovers, so it's gonna land as a 2. It's a quick ride though that often has a short wait, so it's another of those like, why not attractions. I also love it. I love that purple dragon. And he's pretty famous, so you might want to ride it just to be in the know. Just next door at the Imagination Pavilion is the Disney Pixar Short Film Festival. This is kind of a long show, but it is a 4D theater where you will watch Pixar shorts. You might remember some of these from seeing them in theaters right before you saw a new Pixar film. Iconic shorts are shown in this theater in a way you've never seen them before since it is 4D. That said, this is a 1. It's a great thing to do if lines are really long or you just need to get out of the heat, but it's a long show and there's a lot of better stuff to do in Epcot. The next land is World Nature. One of the rides is called the Seas with Nemo and Friends. This is weirdly another dark ride where you ride in a clamshell, this time through a little retelling that's a little more lighthearted of the Finding Nemo story. This time, Nemo's just playing hide and seek. You'll see beloved characters and iconic scenes from the film, and the coolest part is that this ride actually ends with you looking at real aquarium tanks, and then lets out in the massive Seas aquarium that Epcot is home to. Nearby, in the Land Pavilion, you'll find Living with the Land. This is a boat ride that takes you into Epcot's actual greenhouses, where a lot of produce that is used in the different restaurants around the park is actually grown. You'll learn all about new growing techniques and see some pretty unique plants. I know this sounds kind of boring, but a lot of people consider this one of the best things to do in Epcot, and it actually is going to land as a 3, especially because the line is typically short. And this pavilion is also home to Soarin'. Soarin' is an attraction that takes you over many different scenes from all around the world or the United States, as if you were flying above them in a plane or hang glider. It's a very relaxing attraction, and it's kind of a mix between a ride and a theater as you are lifted off of your feet to fly above a huge screen. One of the best parts about it is it does have scents, so as you are riding the ride, keep your nose open. You never know what you might smell. On Figment, it's not all good stuff, but on this, it's all good stuff. Soarin' is going to be a 3. It's one that a lot of people think that you can't miss. In the Seas Pavilion, you'll also find Turtle Talk with Crush. This is a show that is geared towards kids where you can actually speak to Crush the turtle from the Finding Nemo films. He will interact with kids in the audience by name, and it is a very fun, very interactive show. Turtle Talk with Crush is going to land at a 1. If you have kiddos who love interacting with their favorite characters, it might be a 3 for you, but it's a little more missable than some other attractions in most cases. The land also has a movie called Awesome Planet, which talks a bit about Earth and climate change. It's actually a very stunning film, but it's going to land in the 1 category, because though it is beautiful and pretty funny, and also very educational, it's certainly not a must-do. Across the way, we'll find World Discovery, where we're focused a lot more on pushing the boundaries. One way that we do that is on Mission Space, a ride that NASA astronauts helped to develop, and many have called the closest sensation there is to astronaut training. There is a green and orange side, the green side being less intense, the orange being more. On the orange side, you will feel G-forces very similar to what astronauts feel when they train to be launched in a rocket. It is an intense ride, so intense they do put motion sickness bags on the ride, and no matter which side, if you're a little claustrophobic, you might want to steer clear of this one. That said, it's a pretty cool experience, but I do think it still leans more towards the 1 category. I think you should try it, but I don't think that it's the end of the world if you don't. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is one of the newest attractions in Epcot and is a Guardians of the Galaxy themed roller coaster. This is an omni coaster. That means that your car rotates 360 degrees as you hurtle through space to soundtracks, and there are 6 different songs that you can get on this ride, plus some fun commentary from the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is an absolutely incredible attraction considered by many to be the most fun ride in Disney World. For some, it causes motion sickness, but it's going to be a 3 in most cases, as it is just a really, really fun roller coaster. Also in World Discovery is the newly updated Test Track. This is an attraction where you ride in the car and learn a bit about what the future of driving technologies could look like. I've just described it in a very boring way, but it's also the fastest ride in Disney World. At the end, you go about 60 miles per hour. The scenes and effects in this are very cool and some of the highest technology scenes that there are. And the launch at the end where you go super fast is very thrilling. This is a popular attraction, and with its update, is going to land as a 3. The final land in Epcot is World Showcase, and it is the largest because it is 11 different pavilions representing countries from around the world. That said, there aren't a ton of rides, though there are a handful of shows. One ride is another of the newest in Epcot, which is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This is an attraction where you climb inside a rat and then head to Gusteau's kitchen as well as Remy's restaurant from the Ratatouille movie. There's a bit of fun as Chef Skinner of course tries to reveal that Linguini is working with a rat, but it's a fun simulator attraction. It also has some smells, and it is very popular. That said, it's going to be a 2. It's kind of back and forth whether people think this ride is overrated or well worth the hype, so we'll put it right in the middle. Frozen Ever After in the Norway Pavilion is a boat ride that takes place just after the events of the first Frozen movie. With this, you're celebrating Summer Snow Day and heading up to visit Elsa's Ice Palace. You'll see iconic characters like Anna, Kristoff, Elsa, and Olaf, and you'll hear some of the iconic songs, particularly Let It Go. This ride has very impressive animatronics and is the experience that will just put a smile on your face. It's a 3. It's very popular. Who doesn't love Frozen? The final true ride in World Showcase is called Grand Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Caballeros and is in the Mexico Pavilion. This one is a boat ride that takes you through Mexico with the 3 Caballeros. Donald is getting into some antics, and the other Caballeros are looking for him because they have a show to get to. Throughout the ride, you'll see Donald in different funny scenarios around Mexico before they reunite for a big finale show. This one is going to land as a 1. It's really easy to ride though, so I do actually recommend just hopping on it because oftentimes it is a walk-on, but it is certainly not a must-do unless you happen to love the 3 Caballeros. We're not going to cover every single little entertainment option that is around World Showcase, but make sure to check out your My Disney Experience app when you do visit, as there tends to be live music, mimes, acrobats, drummers all around World Showcase. But to talk about the permanent installations, we will start with Canada Far and Wide. This is in the Canada Pavilion and is a film about Canada. It's narrated by some iconic Canadian voices and shows off some of the beauty of the Great North. This is a circle vision film, which means that the screen wraps around the entire room, so it is a unique experience. This is a 1, however, although my fiance is like his favorite thing in Epcot. He goes and sees this multiple times when we go. I go with him 1 time. That's my cap. Another of the movies in World Showcase is the Beauty and the Beast sing-along. This sing-along is in the France Pavilion and takes you through a little bit of an alternate view of the Beauty and the Beast movie. Along the way, you'll sing along to the iconic songs and learn a little bit more about LeFou, who is Gaston's sidekick, than you might have thought was maybe warranted. It is a beloved sing-along though, and if you've got Beauty and the Beast loving kids, you should definitely get in here. This one will probably be a 2. It's a great midday break, and it is a really great one for families. That same theater, though, is home to a different show first thing in the morning and in the evening called Impressions de France. This is a very beautiful movie that takes you through some of the beauties of France, both the city and the countryside. Plus, you can bring food into this theater, so that means, yes, first thing in the morning you can get a quiche and you can eat it while watching this movie. Or in the evening, you can get a glass of champagne and you can drink it while watching this movie. Kind of rules. But it is skippable, so it's going to be a 1. One staple live entertainment option that I want to call out is in the American Adventure Pavilion with the Voices of Liberty. This is an a cappella group that performs in the rotunda of the American Adventure building, and they are absolutely incredible. It is gorgeous, soaring vocals. Many people cry every time they hear them. These folks are incredibly talented, and if you happen to be in the American Adventure when they are going to sing, you should see them. So they are going to be a 2. The American Adventure Building is also home to a massive animatronic-based stage show. This is a show about the American Adventure, that is to say, American history. Part video and part animatronics telling the story, hosted by animatronic Mark Twain and Benjamin Franklin. This is a longer show that has some very, very impressive robotics and is extremely history forward. I love this show. I also love this show because it is a great spot to take a nap. The seats are very comfortable. But it is certainly not a must-do because of how long it takes. If you're not a history buff or into animatronics, and if you don't need a nap, it's probably not going to be worth doing. So it'll be a 1. However, caveat, it's a 3 for me in my heart. The final movie in World Showcase Pavilion is Reflections of China. This is another Circle Vision film, which means that screen does wrap around the entire room. and is a bit dated but beautiful video about the country of China. This one is going to be a 1 as well, as it is certainly skippable. In fact, it was due for an update that never happened after the COVID pandemic. And another staple of live entertainment to bring up is Mariachi Cobre. This is a mariachi band that performs in the Mexico Pavilion, sometimes inside, sometimes outside, and they are absolutely incredible. They're going to be a 2. If you see them, you should stop and give them a listen. Finally, Epcot has its own fireworks as well with Luminous Symphony of Us. This fireworks spectacular takes place over World Showcase Lagoon, which means you can watch it from all around World Showcase, and it's much easier to find a spot. This one, however, is not as loved as Happily Ever After. Now, it does typically happen right as the park is closing, and it's pretty easy to watch, so it's worth seeing. Even not as good fireworks are still great fireworks in Disney World. So check out the show if you can. We'll put it as a 2. So sorry to interrupt. But clearly, if you're this far into this video, you are looking to unlock those niche, secret, very pro tips. You're probably already down with the basics. You know the transportation, you know Lightning Lane. Or maybe you're new here, but you're also cool with the usual. I get it. You know the basics. But what takes someone from being your everyday guest to leveling up to being like a real, true Disney expert? You don't have to write everything in one day, I'll tell you that much. It's really just knowing the kind of quirky, niche, oddly specific tips. And for that reason, our team has painstakingly created 5 oddly specific maps you never know you needed for Disney World. It's true. They're oddly specific, but it's also true that you need them. And they're free. If you want them, just scan this QR code or head to AllEars.net/oddmaps. You can grab them there. They're weird. They're helpful. Both can be true. And that's Epcot, which takes us to Disney World's third park, Disney's Hollywood Studios. This is a park that teaches you about the movies and takes you inside them, and has a lot of the most popular attractions in all of Disney World. There are 9 lands here. That's a lot of lands. The first is Hollywood Boulevard. This is the land you will enter onto and is themed to be Hollywood. You walk up to the iconic Chinese theater, which is home to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This is the trackless dark ride that takes you into the Toon World as if you had joined the new Mickey and Minnie cartoons. There's a bit of a runaway train incident as Mickey and Minnie are headed for a picnic, and you will go through a ton of different and very funny Toon environments. This is a great ride for the entire family, there is no height requirement, and it's a really awesome addition to Hollywood Studios. It's going to be a 3. Turning off Hollywood Boulevard, you might find yourself on Sunset Boulevard, themed to be another section of Hollywood. This street is home to Rockin' Roller Coaster. This attraction is an indoor roller coaster that, yes, does go upside down, where you listen to rock music along the way. Its new theme features the Muppets, so you'll be listening to Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. This is a 3, certainly a must-do attraction. Just nearby is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. This is a Twilight Zone themed attraction where you ride in a haunted elevator into the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Of course, one fateful night that hotel was struck by lightning and the elevators plummeted, the folks inside never to be seen again, as they ended up in the Twilight Zone. You hop in an elevator of your own, the service elevator. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not. It's a drop zone, and it does actually pull you down faster than gravity. This is one of the scariest and most thrilling rides in Disney World, so it can be a bit intense. However, it is also extremely popular and extremely fun, so it is going to land as a 3. As you might guess, Hollywood Studios is also a park with a lot of shows, and Sunset Boulevard has one called Beauty and the Beast live on stage. This is a stage show of Beauty and the Beast featuring live singing and performers. You will see Belle, you'll see Gaston, you'll see the Beast as you get to watch the show unfold Broadway style on a stage in front of you. It's an outdoor theater, you can bring food and drinks in, and it is a little bit of a long show, but it is a long-running show that's beloved by many. It's going to land as a 2. One of the newest shows in Hollywood Studios is Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. In this show, the Magic Mirror enlists your help. He has a bit of a problem. He's been enchanted to only answer to the evil queen, but all the villains from all the Disney movies want him to decide who was the most unfairly treated of them all. Particularly, Cruella, Hook, and Maleficent try to persuade him. You as the audience get to choose who was treated the most unfairly, and it changes the ending of the show. This is a really cool show that's about 18 minutes long and is in the air conditioning. There are some incredible effects, and it is live performers with live singing and performance. It's going to be a 2.5. It doesn't max out the scales, but I certainly recommend it. And finally, the nighttime spectacular that Hollywood Studios is well known for is called Fantasmic and is located on Sunset Boulevard. This is a show like no other where you watch from an amphitheater as a mountain comes to life with many different Disney characters and Disney stories. You'll see Mickey as he battles a nightmare, and many different characters are there along the way. And I mean a lot, like dozens. There's live performers, live stunts, pyrotechnics, a massive dragon. It's really, really an incredible show. Incredible water effects. This is Disney to the top tier. So this is a 3. Do everything in your power to not miss Fantasmic. Back across Hollywood Boulevard is our next land, Echo Lake. This one's gonna have a bit of a 1950s feel to it. That is home to the first of our Star Wars attractions, Star Tours The Adventures Continue. This motion simulator ride might be prone to cause a little bit of motion sickness, but it does show you 3 different Star Wars scenes that do change every time. You might see a story from the prequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy or the original trilogy. You might see characters you recognize from any of those time periods or some of the more recent Disney Plus shows. It is a really fun attraction where C-3PO does accidentally become your pilot. You know how that guy is. He's so nervous. But it's certainly not one of the most popular in Disney World, so it'll be a 2. One of the shows in this area is for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. This sing-along is not your basic sing-along. Along the way, there's a bit of a storyline where Anna is looking for Elsa, and 2 royal historians of Arendelle are taking you through the story of the first Frozen movie. You'll sing all the iconic songs, and it does snow during this show. It is a longer show, but absolutely beloved by Disney-loving kiddos, so you can't miss it if you've got one of them with you. And it's fun for adults too. The historians are very funny, and they'll have you laughing out loud. This one will land as a 2. Indiana Jones' Epic Stunt Spectacular is just across the way. This is a live show where you are behind the scenes of an Indiana Jones film, watching as the stunt people playing Indy and Marion go through several scenes from the Indiana Jones movie. It has larger-than-life sets and really teaches you a little bit about how practical effects and stunt work are done in action movies. This is my favorite show in Disney World. I will watch this every time with a beer in my hand and be very happy. That said, it is on the long side and it's focused on these really cool stunt effects. It's gonna land in the 2.5 category. Vacation Fun is a little movie in this area where you get to watch a Mickey short that is exclusive to this area. It's a Mickey Mouse short. You can see a lot of very similar ones on Disney Plus, so it's going to be a 1. Animation Courtyard is currently under construction, so there isn't too much going on, but there is a gallery with a movie at the end called Walt Disney Presents. This is going to be like a 1.5 to a 2. It is a cool gallery that talks a lot about Walt Disney's history, and it does have some rotating exhibits, and the movie at the end does rotate as well. That said, really not a must-do, but has very crisp air conditioning because they've got historical stuff in there, so they really crank it. I do recommend the air conditioning. With the construction, the only true attraction here is the Little Mermaid, a musical adventure show. Another of the newest shows in Hollywood studios, this is a stage show with a combination of live performers, visual effects, and puppetry telling a story of the Little Mermaid. This is going to be a 2.5 as well because of some of the cool new effects and the incredible live performance that happens during this show. Plus, it's Little Mermaid, a very popular princess, so a lot of folks should make time to see this one. We'll cruise right through a few lands here with Pixar Place, Commissary Lane, and Grand Avenue, as all 3 of these lands don't currently have any attractions or shows. Grand Avenue is under construction to become a Monsters, Inc. land. Commissary Lane is pretty much home to meet and greets and food, and Pixar Place, same deal. Toy Story Land, however, is one of the most popular lands in this park as it is themed to the Toy Story films. One attraction is called Alien Swirling Saucers. On this ride, you hop in a saucer pulled by a little green alien all around the claw. There are different space jazz tunes as you ride around, and it will have you laughing as you're flung from side to side. That said, this is one of the lowest priority attractions in this park, so it's going to be probably a 1.5. On the very opposite end of the spectrum is Slinky Dog Dash, one of the most popular rides in Disney World. This is a family coaster where you ride inside Slinky Dog on a coaster that Andy has built in his backyard. It is a super fun coaster that will have you whooping and hollering, and it is very, very, very popular and also not as intense as some other coasters, so popular with families too. Expect a long wait for this one. It's a 3. And across the way is Toy Story Mania, another shooter attraction where you can compete against your family. You'll grab your very own little pop-it gun and play Carnival Midway games hosted by the Toy Story characters. This one is very popular and folks get very competitive during it, and it's definitely re-rideable because you can try to top your score. So this one is going to be a 3 as well. Now, you've probably heard that Hollywood Studios is also home to a very immersive Star Wars land called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. One attraction here is Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, where you, yes you, take part in a crew flying the Millennium Falcon. You might be a pilot, you might be a gunner, you might be an engineer, but regardless, you get to sit in the Millennium Falcon cockpit and fly the plane. This experience is kind of the same every time until it gets some upcoming updates where the stories will actually change. But we are going to put this one in the 3 category. For Star Wars fans, you just can't miss this. And another of the most popular and most can't miss attractions in Disney World is Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance is a difficult ride to describe. It is many different factors. At times, you are standing in a ship that's flying. You might be walking past a bunch of stormtroopers as you head to interrogation. And finally, you'll be riding in a trackless vehicle as you try to escape a Star Destroyer with the help of the Resistance. The ride itself might not be that thrilling if you just focus on the motion, but the environments you're in make it the most immersive attraction of all time. There is not storytelling that has been done like this. So this is a 3 and probably one of the most incredible attractions in the whole world. And that brings us to the 4th and final Disney World park, Disney's Animal Kingdom. There are 7 lands to discuss here, but some of them don't have attractions to their name. Like the Oasis, this is the land you'll enter when you come in, and it is home to animal exhibits, as most of Animal Kingdom is, so keep your eyes peeled. But there are no rides or shows here. Discovery Island is home to the Tree of Life, the park's icon, which happens to be home to the newest show in Disney World, Zootopia Better Zootogethers. This is a brand new Zootopia show that takes you into Zootopia on Zootogethers Day for the festivities. It's cute, it's got some 4D and 3D effects, and the whole family will love it. It's going to be a 2. In general, keep an eye out for animal encounters, whether that be the exhibit or the show Winged Encounters that happens in front of the Tree of Life, where a bunch of colorful macaws will literally soar out above your head. So close to your head. It's shocking. And keep an eye out for live music and entertainment around this park as well. Pandora World of Avatar is themed to James Cameron Avatar movies, so yes, the blue people. And it does immerse you in the world of Pandora. You head to the Valley of Moara, and you might get on a ride like Navi River Journey. This slow-moving boat ride takes you through the Valley of Moara on a river ride as you see many of the different plants and animals that exist on this alien world. At the end, you come across the Shaman, an incredible animatronic that is one of the most realistic animatronics I've ever seen. This one is a 2. It does tend to be a bit disappointing. I regularly hear people get off this ride going, "That's it?" And it does tend to have pretty long lines, but the effects on it are very impressive. Also in Pandora is Avatar Flight of Passage. Flight of Passage is a ride that is a motion simulator where you get to fly on the back of your very own Banshee. Those are like the flying horses from Avatar. You'll fly all through the Valley of Moara, soaring over the water and the trees. It is an incredibly immersive attraction, so much so that the Banshee actually breathes underneath you. You can feel it. It is a very cool attraction, and if you let yourself suspend disbelief, you will feel like you're flying. It's incredibly popular for that reason, and it is going to be a 3. Next door in Africa, the only ride is Kilimanjaro Safaris. Kilimanjaro Safaris is just that, a safari. You get in a real safari truck driven by a cast member that will take you through a massive animal exhibit. This ride alone, the animal exhibits are bigger than Magic Kingdom. You'll ride through and see real animals in environments just like the ones that existed in real life. No 2 rides are the same because these are real animals and you'll learn about them along the way. This is a 3. It's probably the best zoo attraction that exists almost anywhere. A show in Africa is Festival of the Lion King. This is a show where several live singers tell the story of the Lion King with the help of some characters you'll recognize. Timon, Pumbaa, Simba. There's lots of other performances here too, like Aerialists, the Tumble Monkeys, which are incredible gymnasts, and a fire spinner. This is a beloved show, but it does take up a lot of time, which is going to put it at about a 2.5. Another land we want to talk about here is Rafiki's Planet Watch. This is a land that is about a mile from the rest of Animal Kingdom. You do have to take a train out there, and the current attractions are a petting zoo and the animation experience where you can learn to draw a Disney character. It's also home to several exhibits. This is not a must-do. It's probably, the entire area is probably going to be a 1, but if any of that sounds interesting to you or you have time to kill in Animal Kingdom, it is really fun and I do love going out there. It just is skippable if you need to. Asia is home to Expedition Everest Legend of the Forbidden Mountain. This is a ride you may have seen pictures of because it looks like a giant mountain in the middle of the park. On this ride, you are journeying through the Forbidden Mountain on your way to Everest, and legend has it that there is a Yeti located on this mountain. You do ride your train into the mountain, and you just might come across this Yeti on a very thrilling roller coaster. This is one of the most intense roller coasters in Disney World. It's inside, it's outside, it goes backwards. There's a lot to this one. It is very popular, and if you're a roller coaster lover, you have to do it, so it's a 3. Asia is also home to Kali River Rapids. This is Disney's most water ride. It's a raft ride where you are going through the forests of Asia that have been riddled by a bit of deforestation. Now, if you've ridden raft rides other places, this one probably is going to be a bit of a disappointment. It has one big fun hill, and obviously getting soaking wet is great on a really hot Florida day. That said, this one is going to be a 1.5. It's another one I hear a lot of people disappointed when they get off of it. The permanent show installation here is Feathered Friends in Flight. This is a stage show where you'll see a variety of real birds and learn about them. They will also perform some pretty impressive feats, and there's some fun jokes that the birds get in on this. I think a lot of people skip it because they're like a bird show. Meh. But it's surprisingly good. It's going to be a 2. Our final land is in a bit of a phase of transition, and that is the former DinoLand USA that will soon become Tropical Americas in 2027. With this land being in flux, you may or may not catch the tail end of Dinosaur being open. This is an intense ride where you ride in a time rover back in time to the time of the dinosaurs, but they kind of cut it a little close to the meteor strike. This is an intense ride, it's very dark, there's scary dinosaurs, and there's an impending meteor shower. So it's definitely scary, definitely thrilling, and a little funny too. Sad to see it go. And if you do catch it, we'll put it as a 2. Nearby is the Theater in the Wild, which is home to Finding Nemo, The Big Blue, and Beyond. This is about a 20-minute stage show that tells the story of Finding Nemo, and you'll see all of the characters on stage brought to life with puppetry and original songs. I absolutely love this show as a major Finding Nemo lover, and it's got a really big theater that's all in the AC. We'll put it in a 2. And that is all of the rides and shows to be seen around Disney World. Hopefully this is helpful to give you a little bit of an overview of what you should and should not miss. And if you're still here, please like this video and drop this secret code in the comments so you know you made it all the way. Plus, don't forget to subscribe. We spend all week uploading tips, games, information, and more from Disney World and beyond, because we're pretty serious about fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.